So, taking care of your body is not a luxury, it's a maintenance. And I learned that the hard way. So, today we're going to be talking to Natasha Uffner with Grounded and Wellness Massage Therapy. I've been seeing Natasha for about 2 years now, and I'm happy to say that my body is working so much better than it used to. So, what I really am excited about is for you to hear why Natasha does what she does, because I think once you hear that perspective, things are going to hit a little different. So, without further ado, here's something Steph thinks you should know. Well, I wanted to have you on here today. First of all, thank you so much for coming on, Steph. You should know, because I would love for you. What I want for you to do is to share, first of all, where how you kind of got into this, and also why you're doing what you're doing and who you are serving. Like what you bring to the people that you serve. I mean, I could tell you what you bring, but I want you to say it, and then I'll interject what I can. But I just
Okay.
I think that I think that there are a lot of folks who think of massage as just, a a treat, if you will, versus part of their maintenance and part of their healthcare routine. And as you know, I'm a big fan of all of this health and wellness stuff, and I think that um, there's a lot of people who need to know this information. So I'm going to just let you start with what kind of how you got here. What brought you to this place in your life?
Okay. So, um, I graduated high school. Really, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up,
Okay.
but I was so fascinated by the body. And honestly, I just wanted to dissect a cadaver. I didn't want to share. I just wanted to know what was inside of us. So I thought, how can I do that? What kind of job would allow me to open up a cadaver? So I wanted to be a forensic pathologist.
I was going to ask if, okay, yeah.
So I was like, that sounds like a good starting point. But for my college, I wasn't prepared from high school. It was a lot of work. I found out about 5 years after I graduated that I was taking way too many credit hours for my first semester. So I was drowning. I had to switch majors. Well, I didn't have to at this point, but the way the structure was and to keep my scholarship, I had to switch gears. So
Okay.
then I went to a social work major, which I feel like is kind of a way of putting a band-aid on it because you're not getting to the systemic approach.
Mm. Hmm.
Then I switched to sociology and was like, this is where I'm staying. I'm getting out in 4 years. I don't care what it takes. I gotta get out.
Where,
Um, I had an office job for not even a year and I hated it. I just, sitting still, there wasn't enough work to do, but
hmm.
there wasn't more work to like help out with. So I started looking at grad schools and like pop culture studies and criminology, and somehow I ended up looking at massage schools. There was a school, but I had just missed the enrollment by like a week. I was like, I'll try to remember next year and see what happens. So all these things happen. I feel like it was kind of fate. I went and met with the school after being told that they have rolling enrollments, like a new classes start pretty much every month. So I went to check it out and put my 2 weeks notice in and started school 2 weeks after that. Like that 2 week gap was perfect.
Yeah.
So I get to learn all about the body. And I feel like, especially when I first started, because I've been doing this 18 years now. So when I first started, people were like, it's like you're following me. Like you're like not like I'm dissecting them, but like I'm following the line. Like I guess, yeah, that kind of is what I'm doing. Like I know where the muscles go. So I'm
Hmm.
feeling what feels on track and then what doesn't feel on track and kind of like visualizing what's happening under the body or under the skin with the body. So I feel like I found my way to like, what's the word? Like metaphorically dissect the body, if that makes sense.
Right. Understand the body, kind of, yeah.
So it's been a
Without
really
blood.
cool, right, right. It's
Yeah.
because if I could just go in and really see what's happening, but the more I've taken different education and like learning more and getting the experience, it feels I'm doing the best I can without opening anything. So,
I have a friend that went through massage school years and years ago, and the things that she had to learn, and I think this is the same with chiropractic. There are so many. I don't know if other doctors or other not doctor, well, I guess physicians or medical professionals, or did they have to know all the parts, or did they just know a central part? Like, are they? I feel like massage therapists and chiropractors know so much more of what's connected to what, but I could be wrong.
not, I mean, I want to speak for the medical community, like,
Right.
but from what I've understood, no, a lot of times they don't, or they're learning such a basic thing. I mean, I know a lot of massage therapists that don't know anatomy too. I think depending on like what state and what school and how much you could just like gloss through it just to pass
Hmm.
a test.
Right.
Um, but I feel like with from what I understand with medical doctors, like no, like you're not taught the origin and the insertions for the muscles and things like that. Like you get kind of like the general view, but
Right.
I will say like honestly for me in my classes, it's like you have all these facial muscles. Here's a few main ones, but you don't need to know them all. Like it's not going to be imperative to what you're doing.
Right.
But if you're taking some of these classes with like cranial facial muscles, then yeah, you dive in and learn them better.
Right.
Um, but I think that's where looking at like my mom had neck surgery and I was trying to tell her like, hey, let's soften up the muscles on your neck before they cut open. Like it's gonna be tough. You're already tight, and they're going through like the back of her neck, which isn't the way
Yeah.
they wanted to do the surgery, but it's what they had to do for what she had going on. But ideally, that
Okay.
wasn't the first choice. And when I was like, we can do some cupping, we can do some massage, let's just soften the area. Like, we're not going to do anything intense. The surgeon was like, I don't know anything about that, so I just wouldn't have her do it. I'm like, you think of meat that's like tender and meat that's overcooked. Like that's what you're doing with the muscles. So I wasn't trying to like relieve any sort of pain, but if you can just make it a little less brutal for cooking through something that
Yeah.
is so, I mean, so tense, it's trying to protect her from the stuff she had going on with her neck that, stabilizing her when a lot of things were creating this instability over 30 years. Um, so I think there is something like it didn't matter to him because he's focused on the spine. He's focused on doing what he
Right.
needs to do to help her neck. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it's on one hand, it's great because if somebody's going to cut into me, I want them to know exactly what they're cutting into. But it's also like step out big picture because how could that have helped her healing? How could that have helped him with what he's doing? And just like, I mean, not that your muscles would turn into butter and he'd be like, whoop, there we go. It's so beautiful in there. But I
Right.
have heard that from other people getting surgeries where getting some of that fascial restriction to like let go, that it is easier. I've heard some stories with breast cancer where getting the biopsies, like having some of that fascial work done, and they're like, we didn't expect to have such clean margins because everything wasn't so compacted and dense that
Yeah.
it just made it easier to have that space to kind of see and get into what they needed to so much easier. So learning those kind of experiences and some of the education I've taken, I'm like, yeah, why are we not all doing that? I know some places will have you do PT prior to surgery, which I think is fantastic.
Right.
But why are we not thinking? I mean, I guess I know why we're not thinking about that, but it would help
Well, why aren't we
with,
thinking about that?
well, okay, I feel like because of just the way the insurance company, like it's not like how can we preemptively solve problems? It's let's just wait until they're so bad and then we'll
Yeah.
find a solution where the what's the word? I want to say preemptive. That's not the word I'm looking for.
What is it? Well, it's
Prevention. That's the word.
yeah.
Like if we were doing more preventative care, you be able to intervene sooner. I think everything
Right.
would be,
It's like you have to be at the worst you could be before insurance, if we're talking about insurance, before insurance kicks in, there's got to be no other way. Like you've and it's this is why I'm not a fan of using insurance to pay for healthcare
yeah,
because I think that we are so restricted as we're basing what we get on what our coverage will allow us to have. And that is so unfortunate. And first of all, I had no idea that getting someone kind of prepped for a surgery was something that was a thing. I mean, someone having like knee replacement or shoulder any kind of replacement where there's some major trauma,
yeah,
having your body as in a place where you can receive. I think
yeah,
that is, and for what it's worth, when I had my knee replacement, I wasn't seeing you because I didn't know you, but I was seeing a massage therapist, and I think it's because of that, seeing her, that I didn't throw my back out during all of my recovery because I had a really bad back. And then I had this replacement, and it's not fun sitting around and you're very limited in what you can do and weird positions. And I never had a backache, which was lovely. Um,
yeah.
but I didn't know that that was actually something that if we could integrate, some of the medical with some of the holistic, I think there would be such a beautiful marriage. I think there's so much that can be done. It's not do one or the other, it's do both. And a lot of medical doctors are very weary of chiropractic and massage therapy. Not necessarily, I think they're more weary of chiropractic than they are massage. But that's just me. I haven't taken a formal poll on that. But I do know that anytime I've gone to a medical doctor and said, well, do you think something holistic would help? And they're very weary about, saying, yeah, that actually might be a good idea, especially if nothing else works. Why not use something different and non-invasive? And so
But I think on one hand, like just to kind of play devil's advocate,
go for it.
for their education and what they know, if you have somebody, I'm trying to think of, I don't know, like just say an ulcer. So you have an ulcer, they know what to do. Like it's this tunnel vision of you have an ulcer, these are the treatments, these are the tests we'll use to diagnose, these are medications that we know can help if you can reduce stress. But how do you reduce stress? Some doctors will say like try massage, try meditation, do yoga, but it's kind of this general thing. But if you have somebody who's got an ulcer that is really heading down a path where it's going to cause massive issues, where is your liability to say, oh, just go get a massage that will help? Because are they getting a massage? And there's that whole thing. So if you know exactly
Mm,
how to help them and give this like a roadmap that you know that you can prove has helped other people. I wonder how much of that is the liability part of it. Um, if you're having
well,
massive
yeah,
migraines and stuff like that, but you're not doing a diagnostic, like let's do an MRI and do you have a tumor and do you have all these things?
right,
I think from in the chiropractic and massage world, it's like, no, try all this least evasive intervention, but knowledge is power. And if you're going that route and you like find something, I feel like that's the part thing is a segue of knowledge is power,
yeah,
but having that knowledge, like don't attach, this is me, I am this thing, this has become my life and my identity. I think that's a tricky line
right,
to tiptoe around. But the more you go looking for things, the more you're going to find.
right,
So when you're trying to figure out, like, why do I have headaches? And then you're like, well, you've got herniations in your neck. But then you also find like something else and it leads you to a path of, well, oh, my arm's tingling. What about that? And then they're like, oh, well, that could be from the neck too. And like now you need a neck surgery, where really they were two separate things. The neck is just your neck. Your
right.
migraines are your migraines. The tingling is your tingling. And it's all because of our daily postures that we have with whatever our day-to-day tasks require us to do.
Well, and this is I won't mention who, but I have a person in my life that has dealt with back issues for her entire life. And she actually had an accident when she was, I think, like 7 or 8 years old. It was a car accident. She was in the back seat, not wearing a seatbelt because that was before seatbelts were, I don't even know if the car had a seatbelt at that point. This is an older person. But the car accident was so bad that she lost her two front teeth. She banged her tooth front. I mean, she has artificial teeth. So one would imagine that there was probably a neck injury in there somewhere. If you jarred your face so bad that you lost a tooth, I would imagine there was some sort of. And she's now 76 years old and in so much pain, and it's all radiating from here. And I was like, do you think this is something that, could have happened? Do you think this could have been caused by that accident way back when? But
I feel like
the,
it's
my,
contributes for sure.
well, sure, but my beef on all of this was that instead of, I know she did some physical therapy and some stuff like that, but the amount of medication that they've thrown on the pain versus, and not just it's medication, and then she started hurting again, and they just kept upping the medication and upping versus, I don't know. I just feel like there were some other things that weren't even discussed. It was just throw medicine at it. And I think we are in a society right now where if it hurts, take a pill. I mean, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, but there was a commercial on during the Super Bowl that it was talking about I don't even remember which drug it was talking about, but it went on and said, if you couldn't parallel park and there was a pill for that, would you take it? Would you take it if you couldn't do this, if there was a pill for it, would you take it? It's like we're just looking for easy fixes versus digging deep and seeing what's actually going on. And I think when you actually put your hands on a body, you have a much better way, and not a stethoscope and not, I don't know. I think there's something about what you do, putting your hands on the body, understanding where the things are going, and being, like you said, being able to trace all the things. I think that's where the understanding happens. If anything, it's just another look at it. All this stuff should be used in, like, together. It's all part of the healthcare squad versus I'm only doing this and I refuse to do this. I'm only doing this. Do several things, especially if you're not getting results.
Well, I feel like it's too, as a society, we've become like, I want instant gratification.
Instant
I mean, shoot,
gratification.
I do too. I had a
Sure.
friend years ago who just, what was, she was asking some of us that, like, we do our smoothies and we do our supplements and just, you know, we all did something slightly different, but it's putting the effort into our health and wellness.
Right.
And she just wanted a pill to do a detox. And I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, her diet wasn't great. I think, if I can remember not to like call her out without calling her out, she only drank, I think, Coke. It was Coke or Diet Coke. They were the only thing she drank. And I remember her going on a vacation with some other friends of ours, and they were like, she was so dehydrated because of the heat and she doesn't drink water. I
Yeah.
have heard that she does some better things now, but like, we're not as close. But yeah, like, no, there's not a single pill to do anything. Like, your body, your organs are meant to do things. Like, your liver works to help process like the toxins, your lymphatic system. If we're supporting our bodies the way, like, I don't know, it's like they're intended, you don't need all this extra stuff. But
Right.
there's crutches for a time. Like, I see people that are in so much pain and they're miserable and they're not sleeping. If you've been prescribed something to take away the pain, and I know you don't want to, but sometimes it's, get some sleep. Your body can restore while it's sleeping. This is
Sure.
a lifelong thing, but you are so miserable and you're given a tool. Take the tool as we figure everything else out.
Right.
Um, a pain med or something to help you sleep or something to help you function a little better. it's going to make your quality of life better. If you're doing work and you cannot think because the pain is so bad and you can dull it, don't just take it when the pain's bad. Like kind of like post surgery, was like take it every 4 to 6 hours.
Right. Stay on top of
Take
it.
it. Don't be a hero. Take what you need and wean yourself off.
Yeah.
Because if you feel great because you're on painkillers, that's why you feel great. You take them off and now you got to wait for them to kick back in. So
Right.
there's a time and a place for everything.
100%.
And I lost my train of thought. But no, there's not going to be like one simple pill to fix all your problems as much as everybody wants it. I mean, I would love that too. Uh, yeah, I'm not great at parallel parking. So if I could take a pill.
I'm curious to,
Um,
I don't know if there's been a study or how the study would look. The study of how what our short-term memory is these days, because we're not being required to retain as much because we have things that will do that for us. So how is that affecting our bodies and the way that we're
I think they've done so. I've seen stuff with like social media and why the clips used to be 30 seconds and now they're like they should be under 10 seconds and things like that because we want as much information in the shortest time. Again, instant gratification. And while you're scrolling and scrolling with like the dopamine hits. So it's in a way kind of dumbing us down because you're
yeah.
so used like I get my news from social media. Like if I'm being honest, it is like affecting attention span.
Well, it's got to be increasing cortisol, the stress hormones. It's got to, I mean, I for sure our posture has suffered from being on
Yeah.
our devices and things. There was a girl, and I'm going to go to the side. There was a girl in at Six Flags when we were standing in line somewhere, and she was like, I don't even know if I can make my neck do what she was doing. She was like hunched over like this on her. It looked, I was like, well, you're going to be a perfect client for someone one day because you're not going to have any. I mean, her shoulders were so hunched over, and she was like 18, 19 years old. And I imagine there a term for the neck for social, like for phone neck or something where people are
Text neck.
text neck. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know that my thumbs hurt, my shoulders hurt, I mean, we end up like this on certain things. And if that shoulder raise is huge when we're looking at news, and which is why I try not to do that, because I also find that most of the news that is happening has very little to do with what I can control. Like I'm going to focus on what I can do in my community versus I don't even know what's going on out there. Like, and we don't know. Even if we watch things, we still don't know. We're watching what they want us to watch, kind of thing. And that's on all sides. This is all sides. It's entertainment, is what it is. It's a sick form of entertainment, but it's not information. It's clickbait. It's to get you hooked on that device so that you continue to scroll things and maybe get
And to
some
have that
advertisements. I mean,
emotional, yeah,
it's to
to
have
get that
it,
emotional response and pull you in.
and you having been on a cruise and coming back all nice and relaxed and feeling good and loose probably, and then get bombarded with, is Jim Carrey real or not? I mean, like, is that something that we really need to know? Do we need to be consumed by this question?
Yeah,
I was on a girls' weekend this past weekend, and we had very little technology as well. And I did come back feeling very rejuvenated. I felt very relaxed and calm. And then I've, there's some other stuff that's been going on in the world as well. It seems like every time I go out on vacation, all hell breaks loose. But there was the major stuff that happened in the Middle East this past weekend, and I think as much it, we as a common people, as the common folks, the ones that are not in war, who are not actually out there in the trenches and stuff, I don't think we're supposed to know all this stuff. We're not supposed to have all this information. It's not good for us because, and this is my theory, I think we are tribal. We're a tribal species, and we are a community. And our community is supposed to be a little bit smaller. And I don't know. I feel like we are. putting our nose in places that we shouldn't because we get it, it evokes emotions and it does things to us. And there's nothing we can do to keep things from happening unless you are someone who's going to do something. Like there's some people who will hear something and be driven to make an act to take an action. But I've listened to some, I was listening to some podcast and there's a percentage of people who get real mad about things, but very little people actually do something about it. They
Right.
just will just stew in it. And those are the people who end up with the punches and the clenches because they are not being active. They're only taking in versus putting out. And I mean, personally, I am seeing someone that I know who has held on to a lot of things versus dealing with them. And it's eating her up inside, literally eating her up inside. And that's where arthritis comes in because it's produced by the stress from the I don't think people realize how much stress affects everything in our world, in our bodies. Okay, so let's go back. Let's talk about that for a second because that is,
So to
yeah,
kind of bring it
here we go.
back,
So stress,
yeah. So with the stress, but also when you're talking about the text neck and that young woman, like that's where early intervention is so much better. I love,
right,
I feel like this, especially younger women, but I love when they come in, it's like their first time massage and like kind of educating them, like, this is where your posture is right now. Sometimes it's just your natural posture. Like, there's not something wrong if you necessarily like are naturally kind of tipped over. Um, and a
right.
lot of people who read books like before we got phones is similar postures of just because you enjoy reading. How can we make it better? How can we make it more comfortable? And if you get these habits and learn these things about your body when you're a child and a teenager, if you love reading, you're not going to stop reading. And I was doing this on the cruise, trying to like hold a book like this and read is awkward. And
Mm-hmm.
like your arms would get
Mm-hmm.
tired. So if you have a hobby, like switch around a little bit, like prop it on a table. Um, there's so many ways you can switch things up and take a break. And then the same thing we would say with people on their phones and like computers. So you're doing the thing. It's just
Everything in moderation.
yeah, your common posture, but move more. And
Right.
with stress, I feel like just society as a whole, you're driving everywhere, you're not really walking, you're sitting for work, you're sitting in your car. If you
Mm-hmm.
think of somebody even like a factory worker where they're on their feet, like you're doing repetitive motions. Me as a massage therapist, I move a lot all day, like, but it's still repetitive. I'm not doing
Right.
anything wild and crazy. So like even for me, my arms are forward a lot. Um,
Yeah.
I actually found out, which I mean, I feel like I should have realized this sooner, but you only put things together when they come together.
You
When I was doing
when
my
it's time.
workouts, I couldn't like for years, people on like I was doing beach body workouts, your back, pick up your heaviest weights for your back. My back was so much weaker
Mm-hmm.
than my chest because I push all day and my pull muscles were so weak. So I started working with a trainer, and it
Oh,
probably about 8 months or so where my back is finally getting stronger. But for so long, I could feel like my ribs were like pushing out, and I would be miserable after a back day because of
yeah.
all the like I'm so stuck in one position to pull and get them out. Doing dips one day, I got so excited. I told my trainer, I was like, there's only like these two ribs are fighting, only these two instead of all of them. And how much of an impact it's been to not do my workouts through the cruise because I feel like my rib cage is like squished. I can feel my sternum is stuck. But having these
Yeah.
awareness and knowing I have a massage coming up, if not next week, the week after. I know I'll see my trainer on Thursday, doing like the foam rolling and the stretching and the things that I know how to do for myself. And I think
Right.
it all kind of goes back to like you only know what you know. They don't teach people this in general in school.
Right.
The stress compounds so much. So how do you manage stress? Because get outside, go for a walk. I like to tell
Go
my
outside.
clients And I saw one of these in Key West and it made me laugh. But the car sales, not car salesman,
Oh, the
the car
Gary. I call it
dealerships.
Gary. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So I will tell my clients, like, if you have toddlers, that's great because if you do a silly dance, but yeah, roll around, crawl, reach your arms up. How many of us are up here? But these are
Yeah,
basic things where if you're reaching something in a high cabinet and you can't raise your arms, because why would you unless you make an effort to do it? So at the end
right.
of the day, or take a break at your computer and like go be one of those wavy things and bend at the waist and move and just pretend the wind's got you going everywhere. But don't go too fast because you want to pull something because you're sitting still for too long.
Well, that to that point, I think sometimes when well, I know especially if I've got like a knot in my back, I will like, oh, work it out, try to work it out really hard, and that ends up making it even worse. Like I'll inflame it, or it moves, or if I do like a little tiny little rub, or even take a Motrin. I actually took a Motrin. I woke up with a knot like right in the middle of my shoulder blades last week. And you know what? I was like, I'm not gonna overwork it. I'm gonna take a Motrin and just give myself that, and I took it for like 2 days. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like an ongoing kind of thing. And it went away. But I allowed my body to heal. But I think that it's that instant gratification. We hurt and we want to feel better instantly versus here or recognizing the pain and recognizing that we need to take a step back, that our body is telling us something that we need to be on there's a flag on the play. We got to either stop doing this or just regroup. But and so this kind of ties into some of the folks that you work with, folks who are high functioning, who are just on the go, 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 who do things for everyone else but themselves, who, when they hurt, they work through the pain. Like they don't give themselves the time to rejuvenate or reboot. I imagine those are people that you want to work with, because those are the people who I feel need your services the most. And I'm saying that because I feel I have gotten that type of not service, that's not the right word.
Experience.
Treatment, that's experience. As much as it's nice to go get a massage and, oh, you're treating yourself, it's not a spa day. This is medicinal. It's as much as I enjoy it, it's relaxing, but I have to do this. I need relaxation in my prescription box, because that is something that is going to let everything else work properly. Is that fair to say?
Yes. And I think it's worth stating that there are different modalities of massage. There's different kinds of massage. There's different
Right,
massage therapist personalities and approaches. And it's not like there's a one size fits all. So I would say I
right,
do therapeutic massage, but for me, I want to try and empower people to have awareness and knowledge about what they're doing at home and how it affects their body and how
right.
can they have this awareness and move differently, take more breaks, shift their posture, just have that awareness. Like your body is going to do what's most comfortable, so it becomes habit. That's why it's a habit. It's become
Right.
comfortable for you. But like my philosophy is uh, what can we do to make the biggest impact in the shortest time? Because I don't feel like you should have to rely on a doctor, a chiropractor, physical therapist, massage therapist, like anything like that. I don't think you should have to rely on something where you have to pay for a service and you have to do it. And if you don't, you're going to be miserable.
Okay.
If you want to, fine. If you want to, that's like, do what you want with your money and your time. But there's so many things going on that if that's the only thing you can, that can be stressful in its of itself. And
Right.
there is, if you do a spa massage and you got the essential oils and you got all these things and that's relaxes you and it quiets you, there's so much space for that. Um, because I know sometimes it's kind of like frou-frou and all this stuff. But that is a way, if you can get a full escape, go for it. It's just not what I feel called to do, which is not it's not my thing. So
Sure.
relaxing you, but being able to relax you, but also you're gonna, hey, I can turn my neck further today. Um, and also doing maintenance, like I think consistency is better than frequency. Or maybe not better, but more important.
Ooh, I like that.
So
Yeah.
if you are able to come in every 6 months, every 4 months, every 2 months, make it happen, make a standing appointment, schedule it before you leave, make yourself a priority, make that a priority. You don't have to come
Make yourself a
every,
priority.
yes. And you don't have to come every week to get the result. But sometimes if you are severely limited and you can't turn your neck, how are your shoulders affecting that? How are your upper arms, your forearms all affecting what's happening with the neck? So doing one session just to help the neck turn isn't going to give you long lasting impact in most cases. So,
Right.
okay, maybe you come back next week, 2 weeks. We're working through the chest and the shoulders and the arms and the lower back and the hips and how all these things connect. Let's build on that so you feel more aware of what's happening with your body, because now you can move your neck, but do you feel like you're like stuck here, but your neck's moving? Where's your awareness move next? And then come for the maintenance. And then, okay, you know what? I feel great. I want to come every other month. And you know what? This is going to be a busy year for the kids. So I'm just going to come twice a year, but I'll make sure I come for Christmas break and I'll make sure I come on summer break. And that's the best I can do, but that's consistent. Cool. We made you feel as good as we could to a point where you're
Yeah.
not relying on anything and you can last. And
Right.
having those check-ins where you come in and you're like, I didn't realize my hips were so tight. I didn't realize my calves were so tight. And I didn't realize my neck had gotten so tense again. Well, now you got
Yeah.
that awareness again. You bring it back to the body and then you wait for the next one. And then you're like, hey, I kind of think my shoulders are creeping up. And oh, hey, I didn't know it was my low back was getting tight. I'm doing these workouts and I just started. So that's great. I need to stretch this more. And what would you say is like contributing to this? I'm like, okay, well, I feel like, inner thighs or adductors are kind of pulling through this. Okay, yeah, I probably should be adding more stretches for that. And okay, what else can I do to switch up what I'm doing to get all of this addressed before the next 6 months, before you start having compounded impact, like shrinking you and weighing you down.
Right. So that you're having to fix again versus maintain. We're not fixed, but you're
Right.
having to, and I think that it's the awareness piece that I think is so important. It's understanding and being able to recognize when you need to take action. Like
Right.
if you know that you're someone who can go, if, for instance, I'll use myself as an example, so we're not violating anyone's HIPAA regulations. I came in, I think I was coming in every 6 weeks for a minute. Was it every six? Because I was pretty tense, either 6 weeks or 2 months.
I
It
feel
was
like it
not a
might have been
very
two
long,
months because then we got you a little closer together and then we started spacing you back out.
right. But because it's like I'm weaning off, but it's like taking medication as I need it, but also
Yeah.
making sure that I'm not getting too far off the path before getting back on so that I'm not making things worse. But self-awareness and self-care and self-understanding, I think is so, again, I'm gonna direct this to folks to people who I believe you all help the most. And there's so many people I know you help, but I think that there are um, um, high functioning professionals that do not take care of themselves. They don't, grooming is not a priority. Like they're so focused on everything else that they don't take care of themselves. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot maintain and take care of everything else. And I think that's a life lesson and something that we need to take seriously, because if we don't, the universe will make sure that we do. And
Right.
it will send its message. And if you're not, again, if you're not accepting that the messages and all the things that are being given to you, then you're gonna get slapped across the face with it. Or bitch slapped, as I like to say.
One of the things I took away from my sociology courses is you have to define the terms. So if you're doing research, like you can't just say this word and assume that everybody understands it. So you define what you're talking about. And I think that's one thing, self-care. I saw a Facebook group post of a woman asking, what are you all doing for self-care? And I'm on a budget for this and I've tried this and what are you doing? And my response, and I think there was one or two other women with the same similar response, is what is your self-care? For me in my profession, I actually went about 2.5 months in November, December without a massage because I just my timing, their timing, getting everything, it just wasn't working out. And I had to make sure I got back on schedule. So I get 1 to 2 massages a month when it works out. I do my chiropractic at least once a month. Um,
Mhm.
it's finding those things, but for me, that's not a luxury. That's not self-care. That's taking care of yourself. Like what is what is hygiene for one person is going to be self-care for another person. Like I don't have kids. If you have 4 kids under 4 and taking a shower, that could be your self-care. That could be basic hygiene. Like what
Yes.
do you have time for? Define the self-care for yourself. Because if you're coming in for massage because that's self-care, is that a luxury for you or is that part of your daily routine? What is a daily walk for you? What is a workout for you? Um, like taking a bubble bath, that's free. Sometimes self-care, that could be reading a book uninterrupted for 15 minutes a day. So self-care, what does self-care look like for
Absolutely.
you? You define self-care, but I also think self-care gets mixed up with um like basic needs sometimes. Like what are
Right.
your non-negotiables? What are your basic needs? What is self-care? What is a luxury? Like these are all these are all things you can get a weekend getaway just by hiking in the woods and having a picnic. And that's a version of that for you. Or you can go on a luxury vacation for the weekend. But one doesn't negate the other. It's what fits in with
Right.
your lifestyle and how do you define it. Um, I don't know. I have mixed feelings with saying, self-care. And if you care about yourself, you would get a massage and you would do these things for yourself. Because yeah, if you have high stress levels, sometimes a facial is what you want. Like a facial can be
Right.
more beneficial than a massage because that's what you like. That makes you feel good. That turns your brain off. That lets your body melt. For some people, that is going to be a massage. And I think, I mean, my one of my goals is like see what makes sense for you. Massages feel good, but if they're not
Right.
getting you the results you want, then you might need to take a break from massage and put that time and money and effort into a different professional or a different realm that's going to get you where you want to be and then come back for the massage. It's totally fine. Um,
Yeah.
but what makes the most sense? Because sometimes because it feels good, it might not be producing results for you. And what are your treatment goals
Right.
when you come in? What's your goal to like veg out, to walk better, to feel better, um, to just have a moment to yourself? Like there's so many different things people come in for, which again I think is where go explore other options. Like find a therapist that works for you. You might have somebody who turned your brain off and somebody who feels like you had a bigger impact to get you through your day. Like there's so many different
Right.
ways to look at it and so many different things. So like I like to get in there. I feel like I like to look at the whole picture but work specifically. So to try and
Right.
do a full body in a session is so hard for me. Uh, but when I see clients, it's like just do what you do and let's see where we go. And I can turn my neck, I can move my shoulder. Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
today, for whatever reason, I'm following my intuition and I spent like 15 minutes massaging your feet. And you're like, I didn't realize they were so tight. It's like, yeah, because that wasn't the focus. And doing consultations before sessions, and I feel like some people, it's like, why am I doing this? Like, no, because I'll use my intuition. I'm going to use your information. But if you're telling me your feet have been killing you for 4 months and I've seen you 6 times, and why have you not mentioned them before? Because everything's connected, but
Yeah.
all you can
Yeah.
think of is, but I feel that I can't turn my neck. Okay, well, we've relaxed and work into the feet and it works up the chain. You're going to feel so much better. So it's like, think of those things that you don't think about and then just say, oh, yeah, like 2 weeks ago, my arm was really tired when I played tennis. And that 3 weeks ago, walking up the stairs and my knee did something weird. Like, okay, well, we'll put this information together and kind of add that and see what happens, because it doesn't have to be screaming at you now, but it's
Right.
something that might scream at you later. So while you're in here,
Well,
let's
and to
where
your
we
point,
go.
everything's connected. And so you may be feeling something over here, but it could have to do with something that's going on down there. And if you, there's, which is fascinating to me. It is absolutely fascinating how our bodies are built. And I think that's probably where you found this fascination as well. It's just, it's so cool. And um, so out of curiosity, what do you do for self-care? How do you define self-care for yourself? And what is it that you do?
Ah, I feel like I should have thought about that before I brought the
I
whole
didn't even think about this question,
concept up.
so it's okay. I tell you what,
Before I
I
start
can give
throwing
you
things like that around, I should be prepared to answer. Um, no, because I feel like
I
self-care, like taking care of myself. But I mean, like I said, I do the massages. I don't know that I would say self-care per se. A lot of things for me would be like I work so hard and I work so hard to keep my body going to continue the work I'm doing. So for me, being able to get together with a couple friends and go to dinner is like a big thing because we all have different schedules. So that is good self-care for me because it pulls me out of my daily grind to just take a,
intensity.
yeah, and take a, I don't know, mental break, but also like getting exposed to other people's lives and staying connected that way. Like what's happening in your world. And
You're so extroverted. You are
I
an
like kind of,
extrovert. You get your
and then I need
energy
to
from other
recharge for a
people.
while.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it is
Um,
because I think so much like there was a couple days last month where I feel like it just, like my clients had heavy things that were happening or going on or just like sitting in their bodies. And again, like it's like we were talking with, scrolling the news and things like that. It's fine. I love to hear about things and try and give them the space to work through. But it is when you're like, oh man, everybody's had such hard days, hard weeks. And it's hard to not let that affect me. And without realizing
right,
it, and I'll come home and it's like I just want to kind of zone out. But to know that I'm connecting to my friends and my world and not just the job. Like I find it so hard
yeah.
to go on vacations and things like this because my work, they're people. If I'm not there, then they're not getting the massage they were anticipating, they needed, they wanted, they were looking forward to.
Oh,
So I feel like I internalize that a lot more than I probably should. Um, because you're a person, you're not a paycheck, you're a person
right.
and you're a whole person. So there's so many different components of that. So a lot of the self-care for me is being able to like go for a hike, see my friends, intentionally spend time with people. Um,
Hmm.
and trying to read books, like a lot of the stuff I read ends up tying back into wellness and like personal development,
Nice.
things like that. To read a book that is so off, like that is self-care for me. Just to take me out of
Okay,
my everyday space and move me, expose me to something else.
right. Excuse me, that was kind of gross. Hopefully we can exit or cut that out. Well, I did a little, I know you're not a big fan of ChatGPT, but I did a little chatty thing and to see how much I'm spending on my what I consider my self-care because I put in hair, massage, chiro, nails, and my weight loss. And really the weight loss is more like supplements. It's not anything major, but it's just the average cost of my dietary needs. My yearly expenditure on this right now is about $9,800 on those things.
Okay.
Wow. However, these are things that have made me be able to stand up without grunting. I feel that I'm presentable. I don't wear a lot of fancy clothes and I mean, you've seen me. I wear stretch pants and a t-shirt and sneakers most of the time. But I try to look as best as groomed as I can so that I can at least I can be comfortable, I can look all right and be presentable and pretty much go anywhere I want to go. But I'm not stressed about having to have the right things. And all these things allow me to be my best self. And I don't know if there's a negotiable in there. um, if there was a negotiable, it probably would be the weight loss stuff because I think I'm probably on a better path now and I don't need to have as much. I mean, I've that's can probably go down a little bit, but I think that it's to your point, everyone's self-care is different. And I think it's if you're getting value out of whatever you're doing, then keep doing it. But if you're doing something just, someone says you should get adjusted every 2 or 3 weeks. If you're doing that and you're not getting anything out of it, then don't keep doing that. Go somewhere else. And I would imagine that healthcare professionals are okay with you, with someone not like if someone chooses a different path, you're okay with that as long as they're choosing a path and not just giving up. Is that fair?
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
like
You're not going to be mad that someone's not coming to you if you're not giving them what they need.
right. And I think that, well, I feel like it's a difference to it because not everybody is created as the same.
No,
Um,
right.
I was in a situation where there's clients, like, and this is like a previous office, before I went on my own, where it's what is a good client? They're a good client. They come every week. Cool. They're coming late every week. They're stressing me out. That this is not a fun relationship for me.
Yeah.
And we are accommodating because they come in and spend money. That's not my ideal client.
Oh,
That is
good.
draining for me. Like, I don't want your money. I mean, I need your money to pay my
Sure,
bills.
sure. But that's not why you're doing it.
Right. Like, I will say, um, when I first graduated massage school, I wanted to go into like prisons and give massages. And I remember my brother was like, "Are you kidding me? No, why? Why? Like, that sounds like a super safe place to go." But because this is a population that might not have ever had a positive touch. Did I want to be
Right.
alone with a naked inmate? No, no. Like, we're
Right.
not, but to do like a chair massage and do something where there's guards, like that was my thought process of just something to take out some stress. It's probably a pretty stressful population. And I was like, well, if not, then maybe like I can go to Piedmont Park and massage the homeless people when they come home for the night. And he's like, how are you going to pay your bills? It took so long for me to fully understand the concept that it's I don't like the energy reciprocity. That's a word I shouldn't have attempted.
Repres, rep, res, rep,
Reciprocal relationship.
reciprocity, oh, we'll figure it
Sorry, I
out.
started.
Reciprocity.
Yes, that sounds right.
Got it. Okay.
Um, that there it like it's an energy exchange, it's a monetary
Yes.
exchange, and I just wanted to help people and do everything for free. And it took years for it to finally kind of sink in is like, how do I keep going? How do I not have resentment? I try and tell like new people in similar fields, like it is charge your worth. Like, what is your worth? Like what allows you to keep going? Like for me, it's having that education. It's being in a place that feels good for me to show up every day. It's being in
Yeah.
um like a mind frame that is there are some therapists who can work 8 hours a day 5 days a week and like hands-on. Like I can't, because then
Right.
whoever's at the end of the day is going to get somebody who is checked out, cranky, starving, in pain, falling asleep. Like my mind is somewhere totally different because
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through the day. And I just don't feel like it's fair to treat people
Right.
like a dollar sign. Um, and there are situations where it's like, oh, I'm gonna like, can I squeeze this person in? There's times I'm gonna say no because I know what my week goes like. I know what my personal life is looking like, and it wouldn't be fair to whoever's at the end of the day that day.
Right.
Uh, but if there's if there is and I can help somebody, then I'm like, yes, let me see how I can work you in and try to do it. But I've learned I can't overextend myself because then I start resenting everybody.
Right. Well,
Um,
and you're not a nonprofit. This is not, you're not being funded by a grant to do all these things. And I think I understand that mentality where you're it's the philanthropic service part of what we do. And I mean, I work I feel like I work for free a lot myself. And I've had people say that you're not a nonprofit, that you, but I also find that when you do the right thing happens. And we are, if you are if you're being genuine and you're being authentic, then I think that you will be rewarded. And maybe right now you're in your place. Do you still feel the urge or the desire to do the like prison massage or homeless? Like, is that something that you would in the future maybe? I mean, I think honestly, girl, I think that's a really cool. It doesn't mean that you do that full time, but there might be circumstances or situations where that could be a really, it's kind of like working with the shelter. Like you give your time
so
to.
I've learned since then. So as a side note, because I know you know this, but so I started volunteering at Mostly Mutts to get over a fear of dogs. I don't know if you know that part.
Really? Oh my
I was
gosh.
attacked by dogs a few times as a child. I was terrified. Like it was like a phobia. I never knew if I was going to run away or freeze. So if I saw a dog, I'd be like, it's looking at me, it wants to eat me, and I panic. But sometimes I would stand still and cry. One time in high school, I ran across the street hoping a car would hit me before the dog ate me. Um, I didn't even see the cars. My friend was like, no, it was busy. I remember I didn't have control, but I just screamed, her name is Julia. I just screamed Julia at the top of my lungs and ran around the tree, and the dog had come across the street with me. Like it was bad. So I was trying to have more positive experiences to stop being such a weirdo. Um, and started volunteering at Mostly Mutts. And then I got the email, was looking for trainers. So I was like, is this weird that I'm afraid of dogs and want to be a trainer? So she was like, whatever, just join.
Is
So
this Emily
I,
or
it was a,
okay.
so trying to learn more about dog behavior and read signs better.
Right.
Because one of the things that happened was there was a dog, her name was Pippi. Pippi. She was like a little Jack Russell looking dog, and it was Christmas and the shelter was pretty much cleared out. She was one of like three dogs left, and she had been a little weird and would go to the back of the crate, and like she's just having shelter stress. So
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll take you out first and it's gonna be great. Um, well, she was in the back of her crate. I was reaching in to try and leash her, and I was like, oh, I'm taking you from. I was like all excited. Well, she bowed her head to me, and I thought she wanted me to pet her. And that was her way of like, I am hiding from you. Get away from me. This is
Oh,
not okay. So she bit my finger and like sliced it like as I pulled. And I almost quit because now I was so unsure of what I was trusting for
right.
dog signs and symbols and all this stuff. So I think I joined the training team like right after that. But I almost quit because it was the anxiety of every time I went to take a dog out. It was, are you going to bite me? Am I misreading the
Yeah.
situation? Can I trust
Yeah.
myself? Um, there was one dog where, like, because when the training program first started, um, there was a couple in Gabe and Diane. And so there was a dog, I think his name was Luther. I went to get him out and he was huge and he had just gotten there. And I knew nothing about this dog. Well, it turns out he's really dog reactive, and I was the only thing standing between him and going after everybody else. And I was so terrified and I was shaking. And I was like, if he gets mad and frustrated, he's going to turn on me because I'm the only thing in his way.
Right.
So I started freaking out. I could see the panic in everybody else's face. And I was like, I can't, this dog is so much stronger than me. It was rough. So Gabe and Diane had come out. Gabe took a hold of him. And I basically didn't even walk dogs that shift because I was like crying and trying to calm down because I wanted to be the one to put him back in his kennel.
Okay.
It was really important for me to calm down and be able to finish that interaction. So we didn't leave on a thing of my like terrified hormones, emotions, and everything. I wanted to be
Right.
calm and put him back in and Gabe and Diane like helped me through that whole thing. So joining the training team, and then I got a call from Emily that was like, how balls to the wall is your schedule? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, well, I'm in prison right now. And I'm thinking, why are you calling me? Because she had an email me to ask me for my number. Why are you not calling your husband? Why are you not calling the director of Ghostly Months? Like, of all people, they let you get an email now.
Er,
And that was my way of going in and teaching the inmates like dog training. Never
yes.
thought I would have been in there. So I feel like I was able to make an impact in an unexpected way. And I was in there for 6 years with the program
Yeah.
where I stepped out. And then the other thing I've learned even before that is like you don't know how you make an impact in people's lives. So I feel in a way like I don't have to chase trying to make an impact.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's those small interactions, just saying hi to somebody, being polite, kind, um, and going where you go and seeing who you see and having some of the inmates in the program that have said like thank you for treating me like a person. Like it's not something like
That's
I get on a regular basis. Like it's like again as something so small just to do what I was supposed to do. This is what I was there
right.
for. Um, and to hear those moments and realizing that it really doesn't take a lot. And so you reach who you reach just by being you. So I feel like I'll go where my life leads me, but I feel like looking to do massage in a prison and going to Piedmont Park and massaging homeless people there is
Maybe not the right way.
it's not where like I'm at like now because I'm kind of different focus, different goals, and trying to find a way to have a bigger impact with not the least effort. That's not the word. Um, but finding out how to make the most impact in a shorter time for my clients right now. And then if there's other ways I can help, like I'm happy to do that. But it's figuring out what's right for this time in my life.
And I do think that that is an important and that's you recognizing and being self-aware as well. I think that when things seem too difficult or seem like there are times when we have ideas that we think are amazing, but they are not. And when we get frustrated that things can't happen the way we want, there's a reason. It's because there's something better out there and we need to just be patient. And but I did not know that that was the reason you started volunteering with them. So for you to tie that back into what you originally wanted to do, as far as, bringing um, just a different side of humanity to a population that has probably been pretty has not seen all the sides of humanity. I've seen some pretty nasty things. I think being able to empower and not just it, you're creating such an experience for folks, and just as much as it, when we are working on our body, a little tweak can make a big difference. If you go in there and go, it could rate other things can fall apart. So I think when we want to make an impact, make smaller ones so that because that those ripple effects are there for sure. And you're right, you never know what you're doing, how that's affecting someone.
Yeah, that's and it's interesting to me because I've had some conversations with people with like why would you care about that population? But I look at it as if these people get out of prison and they come back into life and they don't feel like anybody believes in them and they're my
Yeah.
neighbor, like how can you help your community and what can you do in your specific way? Like we all have different gifts and we all have different values. But again, sometimes treating a person like a person, and not like I'm a saint and I am this
No,
perfect
no, no, no,
person,
no,
but
no.
it is
It's humanity.
yeah, like I love like for somebody to come onto my table and have a session and it's I'm sorry I'm crying. I'm sorry I'm this. I'm sorry I'm that. Like I had one woman, she had her first massage. I think she was like 70 something. And she was worried that I would be judging her or she would feel judged because she had an old body
Oh,
and like her wrinkles and her skin. And I was like, no, she's like, I just really appreciate this because I was so worried to come in. And I was like, I don't want people to feel that way when they come in. Like
right.
there's so much more than just like when people say, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I don't have muscles, I'm too hairy, I'm too this, my skin's too dry. Like, no, like just be you, come in
Yeah.
and let's do what we can do. There's no need to be like I want to help you. Like there's things I'm
Right.
going to notice that you're going to be like, okay, well, I
If
feel like you're
everything was fine, they
scrutinizing me,
wouldn't
but
be there.
it's what
Yeah.
I see, right? Like,
Right.
but
Right.
um, but yeah, trying to again make those impacts where it is, and if I can make you feel better about yourself, and then you're like, but your massage style isn't for me, I'm going to go over here, then it's yeah, like these like check out these people and try this other
Yeah.
thing and how do you make the biggest impact with um again least effort is not the word I'm looking for but it keeps coming up um
Minimal, not minimal. I don't, it'll come
to
to
be
us.
to
Oh,
be
it'll come to you.
impactful but without forcing it, without creating this whole thing and it's you need to do all these things
Like an
just to have this one
understated
impact.
impact.
What was
Yeah.
that?
An understated
Oh
impact, like
yeah,
something that's
kind of like give you the most
not
bang for your buck, the best that I can with my abilities.
okay. Right. Well, what I would like to know is, do you have a closing quote that you would, or do you have a quote that you kind of live by that you is your,
Okay, a little bit, yes. I actually
okay,
heard this on a podcast. It's a Virginia Woolf quote, and it
okay.
is I might switch some words around, so forgive me, Virginia Woolf fans. But I am rooted, but I flow, and
Okay.
I really
Grounded
again this
in
kind of
wellness.
embodies like what I envision with the grounded in wellness and like
Yeah,
being grounded,
absolutely.
being secure, being stable, like having those good habits, having that base and then still being able to flow like a tree, still being able to be the car floaty thing.
Yeah,
Um, I am rooted, but I flow.
I
And I
love
heard that
that.
quote
I
and
love
I fell
that.
in love with it.
That's beautiful. That really paints a picture in my head, actually. I've got a very interesting image. That's
And I'm glad. So,
well, I really appreciate you being here and you taking time to talk today. And hopefully we can do another one of these. I think there's a lot that we can talk about, and I'd love to be able to get some different like groups in here and we could have some group conversations. But I just appreciate everything that you do for me. And I know that people that you work with appreciate you as just as much. And I wish you all the success because I think you're doing some amazing things. And I have my appointment next Friday. So I'm
yes,
looking forward
perfect.
to
Yes.
that.
No, but I appreciate you too, because I feel like insurance is such a hard way to navigate. And again, there's pros and cons, but I feel like you're doing such good work to help people navigate it. Because it
Well,
is
what I
a lot.
really want to do, because I'm hearing people that are complaining of aches and pains and they're, seeing these people and this and that. If I can provide a resource, that is my mission, is to connect relevant resources in the community to make a positive impact. And so if I can do that by sending, having people hear messages and hear things and connect with the right people, then I've done my job. But I am and I go on and on about it all the time, but I am so grateful for my healthcare squad, and you are you're a non-negotiable in my world. So um, just keep
I
up the good
appreciate
work and all that stuff.